Hi, my name's Halima Panwar. I am a senior tenant acquisition consultant at Phoenix Group. I'm part of the HR team there. And today I'll be talking to you about what you can expect from your employer and what's expected from you when you start a new employment as part of remote working. So there's a couple of things for us to cover off today. The first is pre-onboarding, and this is really what you can expect from your employer on day one and to help you throughout your journey at the place of employment. So in terms of what you can expect from your employer is an induction plan. So you understand what you're going to be taken through on day one, and then what's encompassed in your role and what's expected of you from there on in. You can also expect some kit, whether that be a headset for you to take calls on and answer calls, and whether that be some sort of hardware in terms of a desktop or a laptop for you to be able to log into. So you should be provided with those things, and if you're not, then there'll be some sort of alternative that is discussed with you. And they should also talk to you about how that works as well, so how you'll actually be able to use that kit. You'll also be taken through a working from home assessment as well to make sure that your area that you're working in is safe and it's compliant for health and safety, just so there's no injuries. So to make sure that you've got the correct type of desking and also the correct type of seating, so you're comfortable when you are working as well. And that should all be taken through with you on day one, really, or even sometimes just before you're starting the actual employment itself. And then what you can do to prepare yourself for day one and for your remote working is to really make sure that your station is set up. So you've got the right type of space to be able to work comfortably and suitably. You've got some pens, you've got some notepads, you've got the right equipment to make any notes on day one and also throughout your week and throughout your time of employment. Also make sure that your Wi-Fi is connected and you've got the right type of Wi-Fi when you do start, because that sometimes can be a problem. And when you're logging in remotely, you need Wi-Fi and you need the internet to be able to log in. So you should be able to check that pretty quickly at home just to make sure that you're all ready to go on day one. And also make sure that you're wearing the right type of clothing, so you've got appropriate clothing on. Business casual is always a good one when you're working from home and remote working, but just check with your employer if you're unsure as to what to wear. And if you are in doubt, do ask them. It's a very normal question to ask, and they'll be more than happy to answer it, I'm sure. First impressions are always really important, so a lot of the way you'll be communicating with your employer is through virtual calls and video calls, so smiling and making sure that you're personable and you're a positive person on these calls will be really helpful, and first impressions are really, really important. Video calling is the way that we're working at the moment, so it can be tricky to create connections and create relationships, but being a positive person and smiling will always help build good working relationships. And making sure that your camera's on during calls as well will be really, really important. The next step is onboarding, so what to expect from your employer for you. So an induction plan, as we've previously discussed, that's important for you to have, and that's what you can expect from your employer. This will really kind of break down and show you what's expected on day one and what you'll be going through, and also for the rest of your journey with the employer. So an induction plan should be discussed with you, and that is important. Also, policies and guidelines should be discussed with you, and some of these policies include health and safety. Just to make sure, as we've mentioned, that you're working safely and in a health and safety compliant way, and any other policies as well, such as GDPR, and these should also be in a document form to you as well, because you're not expected to remember all the information that's going to be given to you on day one. There will be a lot, so any documents for you to be able to refer back to and have a look in your own time, and also refer back to it in the working day if you're unsure, that should be shared with you too. Guidance that we've mentioned, that should be shared with you, guidance on one-to-one meetings and team meetings and how to log into those and how to access those, and also guidance on your lunch breaks and break times, it will be important for you to move away from your workstation during the day because, you know, you need a break. So guidance on when those will be, so you've got some allocated time to yourself, and also guidance on flexible working and your working hours. There may also be options for you to flexibly work, so that's something for your employer to discuss with you if that is an option, and it's good for you to know that too. An introduction should be made to your mentor if you've got one, or your buddy or supervisor, and it's an opportunity for you to get support in your role that's available to you, and your manager should really talk you through that. Your employer should discuss with you what kind of buddy system is in place for you to learn a bit more about the company and also your role itself. Working remotely is a relatively new thing to most employers, and I think it's just important that the expectations are there from both sides. So making sure that you're on time is very important whenever you're starting a new job or a new role. Making sure that you're prepared, so as we've mentioned, your workstation, you know, you're dressed appropriately, and being involved and being interested on the work team calls, as we've mentioned, that'll go a long way, and just really being an ambassador, so making sure that you're respectful on social media, on the likes of such forms of LinkedIn or any personal social media you've got. Making sure that you're respectful towards your employer is really important too. So I hope that's been really helpful. There's a lot to take on from this video, but I'm hoping it's helpful to you. Thank you very much. Bye.